I reached a point where I knew I had to change. Not all at once, but one small habit at a time. Today I'm sharing how I'm improving my life by building discipline, consistency, and a strong mindset as a mom, but also as a person. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Marielle and I'm so glad you're here. Taking the time to wake up early makes me feel like I'm in control of my day instead of just rushing to catch up. This is a time for myself to slowly wake up and get into a positive headspace at the start of the morning. Now, I believe that I'm a disciplined person, but that was not always the case. I actually used to think that I was undisciplined, that I was lazy, but because I had that thought, because I had that thinking, it made me undisciplined and lazy. Gradually working on myself and my mindset, I realized that if I wanted to become a disciplined person, I need to start acting like a disciplined person and seeing myself as one. I may not have the motivation every day, but I can show up the best I can every single day. Showing up for myself first thing during the day actually sets a tone for the rest of the day and does wonders for my mindset. Now that I believe that I am a disciplined person, I actually show up as one. We need to remember that the stories that we tell ourselves over and over and over again are things that our brains usually start believing after some time. If you tell yourself that you are disciplined over and over with repetition, you start acting as a disciplined person. And when you tell yourself that you're lazy, the same thing happens. You do start acting as a lazy person. Now, when we talk about discipline, it has some good and also not so good connotations depending on the context that we use it in and the person who is interpreting it. I believe personally that discipline is a form of self-love and self-respect, because discipline for me means that I'm following through with the promises that I make for myself. Think about this. When we tell other people that we are going to do something, most likely than not, we are going to do it. But when we tell ourselves that we're going to do something, why is it more difficult for us to follow through and to keep that word to ourselves? If we hold our word to others in high regard, shouldn't we also hold our word to ourselves in the same regard? If we actually start doing that, this is a way that we can build trust within ourselves, because we see and we prove to ourselves that we say what we mean and we mean what we say. Life can feel very chaotic at one moment, and then another moment it just feels very calm. So creating some structure for ourselves, be it in the form of habits, of routines, of rhythms, or schedules, allows us to feel in control instead of just being swept away by whatever comes. Now let's get into routines. Routines are really having their moment right now. And it's actually been that way for a few years now, because a lot of people are seeing the benefits of incorporating routines into their lifestyles. Having routines in place help us to make fewer emotional decisions. So whether or not we, for instance, eat a healthy breakfast that day, it doesn't have to rely on our mood that we have at that moment. We can just get up and grab our healthy breakfast or eat our healthy breakfast, because that's just part of our routine. And this is what makes it actually much easier to stay in routine and stay consistent even when you're not feeling your best. Routines minimize decision fatigue. This is exhaustion from having to do so many decisions, having to make so many decisions throughout the day. When we do things in our routine, it actually uses less brain power, and this brain power is something that we can utilize for something else. And there's less brain power used because there's less active choosing, because it's just something that happens automatically and we don't have to think about it and make a decision about it. For instance, setting alarms so that you're sure that you're going to be on time for your appointments or your meetings. Preparing your workspace to be a conducive environment for work will help you so that everything is within easy reach and you can stay focused on what you actually need to do. Planning meals helps so that you're not constantly having to decide every time that you need to eat, what do I eat now, or when do I eat this, or what do we have in the fridge, and all those kinds of questions and decisions that you'll need to make, and this actually helps to minimize mental load. So I've created systems that fit my current season, that season being a working mom who also has two very little kids, and these systems help me to stay on top of things as much as possible, and they're tailored specifically to me and my family. My systems, as somebody who studied full-time and didn't have any kids, looked way different from my systems now. This is something that you'll need to adjust as you go as well. since life circumstances change and different things can be impacted in the process. Now let's talk about overcoming laziness and self-doubt. It's so incredibly difficult to stay disciplined when you're feeling tired or unmotivated or just busy with something else that is currently taking up so much of your time. Let's take fitness and health as an example because I know that a lot of us will be able to relate. When I'm feeling inspired and motivated, I'm just so ready to get my workout in. I'm just so motivated and inspired to pick the healthier options and cook good food for myself. On the other hand, on the days where I'm feeling off, where I'm feeling just sluggish and just not myself, or maybe I'm just tired or unmotivated, it's so incredibly difficult to get myself to start a workout or to pick the healthier option instead of going for an unhealthy option. And because these things are pretty difficult to predict and just suddenly change from one day or even one moment to the next, I know that it can be a little bit tricky to keep showing up the way that we want to. I've definitely had days when I just bit the bullet and I still force myself to do a workout, even if I basically had to drag myself to do it, and I always feel so much better afterwards. I've had days though when it's just really not possible because I'm either going through something or I'm just dead tired, or even if I try, it's just not possible, and that can be okay too. It's honestly a balance, trying to stick to your healthy habits and giving yourself grace. But only you can determine which one you really need at the moment. And so in this video, I'm going to give you 3 mindset tricks that I've been using that can help you to push through when you're feeling stuck. So the first mindset trick is called 5-minute rule. And this is called 5-minute rule because it's actually just setting a 5-minute timer. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be exactly 5 minutes. You can even do 10, 15 minutes, whichever makes more sense to you. But 5 minutes seems very short and doable for us when we're maybe having to push ourselves to do the thing that we know that we should do, but really don't feel like it. And so 5 minutes feels very doable for a lot of people to start with. And so what you do is really just take the 5 minutes or however long you want to just do the thing and grit your teeth and do the thing for 5 minutes. So tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to do this for 5 minutes and that's all I need to do. After the 5 minutes is finished, or however long you want to put your timer for, that's it. You don't have to keep going if you don't want to. So you either tell yourself, after the 5 minutes, I can stop and then I can do something else. I've already done the thing for 5 minutes. I kept my word to myself. Or you have the option to, after the 5 minutes, still continue if that's what you want. And I'm going to tell you, more than 90% of the time, people just continue to do the task. Because usually the most difficult part of starting a task that we know that we have to do, but we just don't feel like at the moment, is just really starting. And this is a great way to be able to get over the hump of starting, and it gets you enough momentum so that you can just keep going, and it's just much easier from there. If you do, however, end up stopping, it's still so much better than not starting anything at all, because at least you did something. The second one is called future you thinking, and this is where you think about yourself as the past, present, and future you. So how are you going to use this trick? This is thinking about yourself in the future and how your present self can help future you. So for instance, let's take an example of, let's say, tackling the dishes. Present me really doesn't want to tackle the dishes right now because I'm feeling very tired. I just want to sit on the couch and rot, and I just don't want to think about the dishes right now. But I also know that if I just do that, in the morning when I see the dishes and I have a million other things to do and to prioritize, it's just going to make me feel much more stressed to especially start my day with that I needed to deal with. So instead of leaving the dishes for future you to deal with, present you is just going to do the dishes right now so that you can help future you, so that she doesn't need to manage and deal with that anymore tomorrow when she's already doing a million other things. So imagining how your actions is going to impact future you is a good way of putting things into perspective and reframing discipline as a gift that you're going to give a future self. And the third mindset trick is the identity-based discipline. This is something that I touched upon at the beginning of the video, where we talk about seeing yourself as a disciplined person. So instead of focusing on a task, focus on your identity instead. In the case of the fitness example, instead of looking at it as you're going to do the workout, thinking about this as an identity means thinking about yourself as somebody who works out. If you tell yourself, I'm a fit person who works out, I'm somebody who works out, and even more if you're going to use this and tell this to yourself over and over, your brain will start aligning that behavior with that belief. Now, our brains really don't like to be wrong, so it'll double down and do everything in its power to prove itself right. And this is something that we can totally use in our advantage. So if our brain gets convinced about something, aka me saying I'm a person who works out, and if you keep telling yourself that you're a fit person who works out consistently, soon you'll see that the resistance will decrease over time. This way, you act because of who you are, who your brain believes that you are, instead of how you feel in that moment. Regularly taking care of yourself is a form of discipline as well. We can just go to bed without brushing our teeth, without washing our faces, but do we do that? I hope not. These are things that are pretty much non-negotiable for at least most of us, and it doesn't matter how tired we are or how late we get home or anything like that, how much less sleep that we're going to have. We still do them, and we still do them at the same time every day or every night. So when you think about it, it's actually a form of self-discipline, even if you don't see it that way. It's just become part of your routine, that it becomes automatic and you don't have to think about it or make a decision, should I brush my teeth now or should I just leave it for tomorrow? Taking care of yourself doesn't mean just taking a shower or having a mani-pedi or going to the spa, although it can mean that. There's definitely nothing wrong with those. But what I mean by this is doing things that keep you grounded and give you energy. That being said, I wanted to go through 7 different types of rest, which are physical, emotional, mental, sensory, social, creative, and spiritual. So physical rest is the type of rest that we do when we're sleeping, we're taking a nap, we're walking, we're exercising. Emotional rest is journaling, putting up boundaries. Mental rest is mindfulness, taking breaks, doing puzzles. Sensory is going into nature, no screens, reading books. Social is going to see loved ones or solitude. Creative is drawing, painting, trying out something new. Spiritual are things like meditation and visualization or reflection.
You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Just start one disciplined choice at a time.
And that's it. If this inspired you, don't forget to subscribe, give it a like, or share it with someone who wants to improve their life as well. Follow me on Instagram at beanshome.yt for more motivational and mom life content. I wish you a great rest of the week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!